right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So, Jets, Bucs, Sunday, 1 o'clock, Tampa Bay home opener. Of course, I'm going to be there, man. I'm fired up. If you guys see me walking around or if you guys want to link up, just shoot me a DM. We'll make it happen. Man, I can't wait for it. It's been too long since the Jets have, played over here in Tampa, so I am really, really looking forward to it. Again, should be a lot of fun, but the Jets are coming off a pretty damn disappointing performance against the Buffalo Bills. Flat out, they were blown off the field. Credit Buffalo, amazing team, amazing coaches, amazing players. Not many people actually had the Jets winning in that game, but you're just looking at the performance, and there were just a lot of disappointing moments. But in any case, the Bucs are 2-0. I'm expecting that stadium to be absolutely packed. I went for a preseason game, and the stadium was packed. So home opener, they're again 2-0, first place in the NFC South. Two great wins: Falcons week 1, Texans week 2. Of course, in that crazy fourth quarter, that crazy Baker Mayfield play at the end of the game. Just a well-coached team, right? A team that you just kind of feel like they do a lot of things good, right? Like they don't have these like glaring problems, these glaring issues. But of course, we now have the Jets coming into town, right? First road game of the Aaron Glenn era. How do they handle it? How do they get up off of the mat, if at all, right? I mean, you look at last week, an absolute embarrassment. No one really projected the Jets to actually beat the Buffalo Bills, but it was just the fashion in which the Jets lost, where there's nothing to really write home about outside of the performance of Juwan Briggs. But game planning, play calling, offense, defense, quarterback play, secondary performance, it was a mess. It was a complete mess. So how do the Jets respond? And I think even though that game absolutely just sucked watching, the bright spot that you can pull is the major issue with this football team, right? And this can be said about a lot of run-centric, run-focused teams that, the whole identity is play good defense, try to run the football, eat clock, control the game, take a lot of the tempo out of it for the opposing offense. You cannot get down early. You cannot get down early. You cannot go down 10, 13, 20-0 and expect to go on a 10-minute drive to try to come back in games. And even if they wanted to, right, they wanted to maybe go into this more pass-happy approach, we don't have the wide receivers to actually make that happen. So you're walking in a Raymond James Stadium winless, and there's a lot of people, again, that are writing off this football team. You kind of feel like it's very similar to when Dan Campbell took over the Detroit Lions, where it was like a lot of people didn't like the hire. A lot of people wrote Dan Campbell off early in his head coaching tenure over there in Detroit. Lions fans were wearing the Detroit versus everybody shirt. It kind of became this rallying cry, and it kind of feels like the Jets are in the same boat, where they're trying to formulate this culture of, hey, you know what, we really care on what happens internally, but externally it is what it is, right? The media can talk, the stories can be written, whatever. We're focused on trying to build this thing and trying to build it the right way. So we have to ask the question, what can the Jets do? What do they have to do to go into that stadium and upset the Bucs, who right now are currently a 6.5-point favorite? And I think the objectives for this week are pretty crystal clear. Before we talk about it, though, we need to talk about injuries. And look, I know I'm a Jet fan. I know this could come across as a homery statement, but it is a fact, and it's worth bringing up. So the Jets actually have a couple things going in their favor. I know the Jets are beat up. Jermaine Johnson, Justin Fields, that's kind of been the storyline this week so far. Who else? AVT's obviously out for the season. Michael Carter's been banged up. But if you look across the line of scrimmage at Tampa, no Tristan Wirfs, no Chris Godwin, no Luke Godeke, no Calijah Kancey. These are amazing players here. Then you throw on top of it, Cody Mauch is dealing with the knee. Baker Mayfield's a little beat up. He missed a day of practice. He was seen like hobbling around against the Houston Texans. So could this be a game where the Bucs on paper, they're the better team. They are the more proven coaching staff. They're at home. But with the amount of injuries, again, left tackle, right tackle, wide receiver, is Baker going to be 100%? Calijah Kancey in the middle of the defense. I mean, if you love, odd man fronts, if you love just explosion from the defensive tackle position, like, you got to love Calijah Kancey. This guy is just a wrecking ball in the middle of a defense. But unfortunately, he has this big injury, and he's going to be missing this game. So could the Jets potentially take advantage of the missing talent that Tampa is currently dealing with. So it's totally a fair question to ask, but again, based off of how the Jets looked in that week 2 game last week, they got to do a lot of things differently. They just cannot count on the other team being freaking injured for them to actually look alive. A lot of things need to change. So let's start with the offense. Again, no Justin Fields. It's going to be Tyrod Taylor going out as the starting quarterback. I am fired up. I'm fired up for Tyrod, man. He's always been one of my favorite players. You know exactly how he is as a player. He can go through his reads. He can identify where to go with the football. He can hit the open guy. He can extend plays if need be. He can check it down effectively. He's seen so many different defenses throughout the years. He's been in so many different offenses throughout the years. He has just tons of respect from coaches and players all across the NFL, again, because he's bounced around. Always is saying the right things in press conferences. Just a guy that you want in your foxhole, right? Tyrod Taylor is the ultimate professional, the ultimate leader, the ultimate professional, and he's getting a real shot here. He's getting a real crack. This is not, preseason week 3. All right, just go out there and take snaps. No, this is a regular season game early in the year, and you kind of feel like a lot of Jets fans are like, show us something. Show us something, please. We need something to believe in here, and Tyrod has a chance. So the biggest key for this Jets offense, right? They got to be able to start. First off, as far as like the overall game plan is concerned, get back to basics. Run the ball. Again, no Calijah Kancey. I'm not saying that the Bucs are now this horrible run defense, but they still have Vita Vea and whatnot. But get back to basics. The Jets ran the ball down the Steelers' throat with ease. Pittsburgh had months to prepare for it. Everyone knew that the Jets wanted to run the ball. They have veterans. They have talent on that defensive line. It didn't matter. The Jets, again, were just slicing up that Steelers defensive line like it was a joke. Of course, Buffalo, it's a different story, but again, the game plan had to be trash, right? You can't go on these long, time-consuming drives when you're down by 20 points, right? It's just, in the defense looking how it was, it just simply can't happen, right? Like, you need to actually be able to get in the end zone, get downfield in a quickly manner, not, of course, rushing, but like you have to be able to pick up chunk plays. You can't go on a 9 to 12 minute drive down 3 possessions. I feel like overall the Jets are in a pretty good position as far as overall. I feel like the Jets are in a pretty good position as far as overall system fit for Tyrod Taylor. If they're having an effective ground game, and all Tyrod has to do is manage the game and just be an efficient quarterback, that I think will get the job done on the offensive side of the football. I'm not saying that they're going to put up 35 points or anything. I'm not even going to say that they're going to put up 30 points, but that's really the brand or the vision for this Jets offense, right? Control the clock, control the tempo, get into third and shorts, dominate in the trenches, have your quarterback not ruin the game, just be able to hit open guys, force feed the ball to Garrett Wilson, right? We know that should be a vital point in every single week with Tanner Engstrand, right? We got to figure out ways to get Garrett Wilson the football early within the game to get him flowing. And personally, a quick side note, I would actually really like to see the running backs getting utilized as pass catchers, right? Braylon hasn't really had that big of a role so far, but Breece has looked awesome. Just gliding upfield. Like, he's almost reminiscent of James Cook in a way, right? Where he just looks like he's almost in, like everyone else is on slow-mo and he's just kind of cutting through no problem. Breece has been flat out great. Let's get him the football more, whether it's handing him the rock or throwing him the rock, whether it's screens, whether it's checkdowns, whether it's him over the middle of the field. That's just an area that I feel like we haven't really utilized all that much. But for me, it is absolutely imperative that the Jets run the football effectively. If they can do that, I think we're going to be in a pretty good position offensively because Tyrod is a smart enough quarterback to get rid of the football, to pick up yards with his legs, to, check it down when need be. I'm not, nervous of Tyrod launching it in a triple coverage or just throwing moonshots down the field, just like hucking it down there. Okay, so hopefully someone gets open. Here you go. Tyrod's just not really that type of quarterback. You feel like every time he drops back to actually throw, there's a lot of intent behind each and every throw. So, you just got to keep it close and run the ball. Defensively, Defensively, this is the aspect of the game that really makes me nervous, right? Grizzard's offense, led by Mike Evans and Baker Mayfield, Bucky Irving, Igbuka, right? Sterling Shepard, right? He's out there making plays. I'm a big fan of the Bucs offensive line. How does this offense go up against the Steve Wilkes defense? The Steve Wilkes defense, I've actually had a pretty major problem with. You feel like the calls are very basic. They're very vanilla. How is it possible that I can tell exactly where a blitz is coming from? I'm miles away watching it on television. If I can identify it pre-snap, you think Baker Mayfield, Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen can? Obviously. These offensive coordinators, yeah, they can pick it up easily. It's almost like these blitzes are in slow motion, like they're just slowly developing. And it's not to say that these guys are like jogging around the field. That's clearly not the case, but it just feels like the blitz is so obvious. It's like this optical illusion that it's slow. In reality, it's actually not slow. The quarterback actually just knows it's coming so he can get the ball out really, really quickly. The coverage, the pass defense has been horrific. Brandon Stevens, not good. Michael Carter, not good. He's currently hurt. Tony Adams, not good at all. Gardner's been good. I feel like Cisco's been okay, right? Like just hovering around that average area, maybe a little bit above average in my opinion, but really nothing that you haven't really seen much, in my opinion, as a fan. You're watching this secondary saying like, oh yeah, we're locked in here. No, the production needs to get better. Bottom line, Michael Carter, one of the highest paid slots in football. Sauce Gardner, the highest paid corner in football. Brandon Stevens, 3-year contract, over $30 million, right? 10 plus mil per season. Andre Cisco, brand new free agent acquisition. Money is being spent in the secondary. Why does it look like this? I have no problem whatsoever. I think there's been a lot of people demonizing like cover one, right? Man-to-man coverage, cover one. Like, oh, like this cover one, it's very vanilla. It's very basic. There's nothing wrong with that play call. There's nothing wrong with that philosophy whatsoever, but you can't consistently run it over and over and over and over again, and at the same time have your DBs not being able to cover. Okay, if that's the case, yeah, of course you're going to get torched. It's not so much the play call, it's the amount of times that it is being called, and again, the flat out play on the field, which is something that, who do you really put the blame on? The players or the coaches? Some would say, some would say both, but you kind of feel like it's there's a lot of people on both sides of that fence. But regardless, it doesn't change the fact that the production needs to get better. And then when it comes, of course, to rush defense, we looked actually really impressive against Pittsburgh, but then we bounced back against Buffalo, and it was just a train wreck, right? Complete train wreck. Buffalo ran for 225 yards, just a mess. I don't think it'll be that bad again, because I do like the personnel there. I trust Quinn and I trust Phillips. I trust the linebackers to come up and make plays. But then when you're listening to Aaron Glenn talk about like the run defense problems, he knew exactly what the issue was. Over pursuing on cutbacks, right? I mean, how many times did you see that over? Like, it was just happening nonstop. James Cook just completely slicing up the Jets D line. So if you can, put the attention there and really kind of lock that in this week throughout the course of practice, you feel good about it. Now, of course, no Jermaine Johnson, very good edge setter, very good defensive end overall. We got to crank up the pressure here. We got to get to Baker Mayfield. That's really the bottom line. Who knows if he's going to be under 100% on game day, but regardless, you got to throw. I'm throwing the kitchen sink at him. I am making it very difficult for him to sit in the pocket. It just feels very important to get to Baker early within the play, because if he's sitting back there against this secondary so far, with the amount of wide receivers that he has against a lot of man coverage, yeah, he's one of the most accurate quarterbacks in football. He can put it on these corners. Put it on these pass catchers pretty easily. So I cannot wait for the game. I'm fired up to go, and fired up to see a lot of Jets fans there as well. It should be a lot of fun. So anyway, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Actually, real quick, by the way, shouts out to Homage. They actually sent me this hoodie. So soft, so nice. I'll leave the link down below in the description box to this exact hoodie, but also their entire Jets page if you want to go check it out. So anyway, thanks so much, and as always, go Jets.